And you can buy my baby too at Amazon.com. White Scar, Trials of Black Shemad. In the book, the self-appointed savior of the world, Black Shemad, has Hampton Academy on lockdown. No one can get in and no one can get out. It's up to the two main protagonists, White Scar and Twinkle, to liberate everyone from his clutches. Find out what happens when you purchase a copy on Amazon.com today!
Should have known. You've been single for 23 years.
Yep.
Studios.
Just shoot for the stars if it feels right, and they want my heart. If you feel like it, take me away and make it okay. I swear I'll behave. You wanted control, so we waited. I put on a show. Now we're naked. You say I'm a kid. My ego is big. I don't give a shit. Well, it goes like this. Take me by the tongue and I know you. Kiss me till you're drunk and I'll show you. Moves like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger. I don't need to try to control you. Look into my eyes and I own you. If they move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger. Baby, it's hard when you feel like you're broken and scarred. Nothing feels right, but when you're with me, I make you believe that I got the key. So get in the car, we can ride it wherever you want. Get inside it if you wanna steer, but I shift the gear, I take it from here. Yeah, and it goes like this. Take me by the tongue and I know you. Kiss me till you're drunk and I'll show you. Moves like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger. I don't need to try to control you. Look into my eyes and I own you. If they move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move like Jagger. I've got to move like Jagger, I've got to move march into the night. Let the fear sink in their eyes. We will roar our battle cries. The oath we shall carry strong. Rally up the swords and shields. Fight into the bloodiest fields. For the honor high decree. The heavens is on our side. March into the night. Let the fear sink in their eyes. We will roar our battle cries. The oath we shall carry strong.
My name is Avery Fletcher. After 7 years away, I have come home with only one goal: to save my father. But to do that, I can't be the woman I once was. To honor my father's legacy, I must become someone else. I must become something else. I must become Screecher.
I know this place.
and go get some. What is that?
It's baby.
Baby?
My baby.
Your baby?
It's like, would you like to hold it?
But yeah, sure.
And you could buy it too for $18.37.
What?
And you can buy my baby too at Amazon.com. White Scar, Trials of Black Shemad. In the book, the self-appointed savior of the world, Black Shemad, has Hampton Academy on lockdown. No one can get in and no one can get out. It's up to the two main protagonists, White Scar and Twinkle, to liberate everyone from his clutches. Find out what happens when you purchase a copy on Amazon.com today.
Should have known. You've been single for 23 years.
Yep.
Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleash!
Just gonna wait, give people a chance to get in here before we get started. Last night at WrestleMania 38.
Testify in what you troll. Do you swear to tell the whole truth? So help you God. You got something like I do. I know this place is where I am. No other place is better than. No matter where I go, I am proud to be Canadian. I am, you know I am. I am Canadian.
On pure speculation, just an educated guess, I'd say that man is alive.
Bring your friends, it's fun to
My name is Montgomery Chester Williams. My friends call me Monty. Well, they would if I had any. You know, if the universe has taught me anything, it's what others refuse to admit. In the animal kingdom, the largest predator rules it all.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo-kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
The first time I laid eyes on Princess Gandari. Such a sweet and innocent little girl. I had no idea what destiny had planned for her. And neither did she.
favor and go get some. What is that?
It's baby.
Baby.
My baby.
Your baby?
It's like, would you like to hold it?
But yeah, sure.
And you can buy it too for $18.37.
What?
And you can buy my baby too at Amazon.com. White Scar, Trials of Black Shemad. In the book, the self-appointed savior of the world, Black Shemad, has Hampton Academy on lockdown. No one can get in and no one can get out. It's up to the two main protagonists, White Scar and Twinkle, to liberate everyone from his clutches. Find out what happens when you purchase a copy on Amazon.com today.
Should have known. You've been single for 23 years.
Yep.
I know this place is where I am. No other place is better than. No matter where I go, I am proud to be Canadian. I am, you know I am. I am Canadian.
Yes, that's it. That is all of the videos for the pre-show. Diana's not live. She's muted. So oh wait, she's up. Hi.
I am here.
I am Chris. Hi here.
Howdy. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm eating candy corn.
Yeah. So what's going on? We have a show to do.
I know we have a show to do. Nice background.
I'm supporting Melvin too. It's from the Melvin 2 book.
Yep. Yep. Sure.
You don't like Doggy Punch soda? Do you like Punch Puppies?
Do I have to respond to any of those questions?
No, you don't. Why don't we bring Mike in before I get in trouble? Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
See you in the background. I'm like, Mike, come save me. I just put my foot all up in my own butt.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I look at
Chris,
Diana.
when are you gonna let the whole thing with Pops go? I mean,
Never. That guy is still picking at me. I'm never gonna let it go. If he picks at me,
well, you're not the only one he had heat with that had heat with him now. Somebody else.
I know. That's kind of why it's on my mind tonight, because I pretty much heard some stuff, and I don't want to get detailed, but people are starting to wake up. It's like, But anyways, how you doing, brother?
All right, and just to let you know, yes, I am going to be broadcasting tonight.
Yeah, I finally found it. I didn't realize that the uploads button had a drop down that let you see upcoming videos. So I went there, and I don't tell anybody, but I've already liked and shared it. But that's because when you start, I'm usually in here. So I'm like, all right, you're smart enough to do that while we're still in pre-show. So I'm like, I can go do that too, man. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I like my own videos. Like when I first put them up on Sunday. On Sunday when I set my videos up for the week, that's when I like them, and then I'll share. Usually I try to share them about an hour before. So since I start at 6 my time, 9 your time, so I'll usually will share it about an hour before. So that would be 5 my time, 8 your time. But sometimes get busy with other stuff. Sometimes I might get a little late or what have you. And then usually with you guys and whoever else, maybe, like with RJ and stuff like that, I usually will try to like and share about a half hour before, before the thing. So, yeah. So, I am looking forward to having you guys on next Friday, of course.
Is that when it is?
Yeah.
I let Diana
handle November 4th. That's a week from this Friday.
Awesome. Well, Diana handles all the booking for me. So honestly, Mike, if she doesn't kick my tail, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, also, just to give you guys a little heads up too, Monday, as you know, is Halloween holiday. So one of the things I'll probably be planning to do, and I'll probably send you the link that day. I'll be doing an open. You know how RJ kind of does the open mic, open panel kind of things. I'll be doing that since it's a holiday and stuff. I'll probably be sending you guys a link if you guys want to come in and hang out. We'll be.
I know we'll be giving out candy, but maybe we can join you from outside while we're doing that because we have Wi-Fi right outside our door. It won't be a problem that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where we'll be talking a lot about what your favorite like Halloween specials growing up were. Probably a lot of Halloween type cartoons or ghost.
Rudolph. Rudolph's the #1 Halloween movie.
Okay. Rudolph's a Christmas movie, as far as I know. But
yeah, but if you watch it in October, then you just get that feeling of Christmas all through November. Hi, Rick.
Hey.
How are you, man?
Good. I'm really good because probably this weekend I will be finished by sometime this weekend. I will be finished Snowdrift.
Yeah.
And then of course, for like half of November, I'm gonna be concentrating getting Canadian Shield 2 done.
Yeah, I've been working on Man Guy. It's coming along. Diana got to read, I think it was 9 or 10 pages from episode 2. Episode 1 is done.
Yeah.
But it's still transforming. Like, I had to add characters to the story to do one thing or another, and I'm excited about that. That's the Punch Puppies. They're wicked cute.
You're just not going to let that go, are you?
Well, they're actual pieces of the story, and if you punch them, they go nuts, and like they have these like you're going to have to see the creature to see it, but he has like these hands that come up out of his head, and these are underworld creatures. They're not like something you find in your pet store.
Well,
I thought you were doing it as just kind of another little tick off at Pops.
Well, you got to understand everything I do is metaphorical, so it might have been influenced by that, but it's more just I needed something for the story, and this was a really cool idea. And the long-term idea is that it could easily be made into a plushie if we ever decided to do one. So that's what I went after. Hey, Terry.
I was going to say you should have made it after the fashion of the Greek dog, 3-headed dog that guards their hell.
Well, there's always the opportunity to do it. I haven't released anything yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny thing. I've been working on this. It's kind of like Trolls, but it's so different because everything I've worked on so far, when I put the video together, you notice there's no like superheroes in it. It's because the first 2 chapters, there's really no superheroes in it, or the first 2 episodes, as I like to call them.
It's more the origin story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And
I don't know if you guys caught any of this past Friday's episode of the historical comic retrospect, but Timothy and I, we start, and Rick in the chat along with Robert, we were all having a pretty good conversation about about what we were reading and stuff.
Well, I remember, I think I turned it on and I fell asleep, not because you guys are boring, but because my clock is so weird. And that's what I was kind of saying. Everything has been really crazy for when I sleep. I sleep 2 to 3 hours, wake up for 2 or 3 hours, go to sleep for 2 or 3 hours. And I don't think I'm actually hitting my REMs, our EMs. Yeah. You know, I'm losing my it's the end of the world as I know it. Those are two jokes.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, man.
When you wake up from whether it's a nap or when you go to sleep, does like the inside of your mouth taste all nasty?
No.
No.
Like
I always taste good. I'm like a sicko though.
I'm just wondering because if you're having these issues with sleep and stuff, I'm just wondering if maybe you might have sleep. I was just seeing if you had at least one of the symptoms I knew for sleep apnea.
Actually, we're pretty sure I have that.
He does have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
He refuses treatment. He refuses doctors.
The other thing about it is it gets worse at certain times. And right now, right before midterm elections, as silly as that sounds to some people, I am stressed out. Comicsgate is a freaking zoo, and I can't tell up from down with them. And of course, there is the little puppy thing, but I don't really obsess over that. I'm just having a little fun with that. But really, the thing with American politics, and I don't know what's going on with comics, but it's driving me nuts. Like, I spoke about this a little on Twitter this week, and I haven't really talked about it in video, but it's driving me nuts when I hear people go, I hate Marvel, I hate DC. And then they're going to watch the movies and they're reviewing books and they're talking about shows. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I get it, but I don't get it. Like we keep giving these people our money and they keep crapping on us, you know, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me sometimes. And that shouldn't bother me personally. I should be able to overlook it. But I'll give you guys an honest thing. It's the autism, and that's not an excuse, but I perseverate. Is that the word, honey?
Perseverate.
Thank you. On stuff and like totally.
That's a word I've never heard before, but
yeah, I've used it before, but I can't remember the pronunciation. But like
perseveration just means you get stuck on a topic and you can't move forward, and you have a really hard time.
So he focuses on one thing.
Yeah. And I need resolution.
But you know, that's par for the course with anybody on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, that's why I'm saying, like, if you're on the spectrum, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of this pressure is about to be released November 11th, Election Day. No matter how it goes, it's over, and I can relax for another 2 years on politics pretty much.
No, a year and a half, because it'll start up 6 months before.
All right. You know what, Rick? You know what?
maybe a year.
I'm going to do your video in black and white.
Maybe a year, because, you know, American politics are bad for that. It's Canadian politics that only go like 6 months for these things.
How long have you guys been with Trudeau, by the way? Is that like a decade now?
Oh, no, about 6 years.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit more.
Because he feels like he's never leaving office.
He did one full term. And then when he got reelected, it was a minority government. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, he said, let's do this whole election thing again. And he got elected again, unfortunately, with a minority government. So maybe it's been about 7 years.
That's one of the ways multi-parties can hurt, though, because it divides the vote up so much. It's easier for a minority group to take over a minority party.
Well, it's not.
You don't have a majority rule. You have plurality rule.
Yeah.
Well, by minority government, it just means
less of them, right? Fewer of them than the bigger ones.
They don't have overall power. They need to actually get with somebody else to get stuff passed. Usually, if they want it passed. And there you saw my mom's hand a couple of seconds ago, waving hi.
Oh, I thought she was trying to hit you. I was waiting for the hair to go. Hi.
They say hi back. So yeah, Canadian. In some ways, I like the more than one. Well, you guys have more than one party, but you don't. More, you're probably. I think your other parties don't usually stand a chance of getting in.
Yeah, no, we
Where
only have Democrat and Republican. There's Libertarian, there's Green, and there's a
Well,
few
yeah,
others.
there's a bunch of third parties. It's just that they don't garner, and they usually don't garner
enough support
to really get. I mean, there are like in Nebraska, they probably have a seat or two, in the state assemblies there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is just Democrat and Republican, because the establishment, our political establishment, it's like, as people often say, at this point, a lot of the establishment Republicans are just kind of Democrat light, basically.
Yeah.
Well, neither party resembles what they used to look like, when I was a kid. It's completely different. And I'm sure that the people of the parties from, 50 years ago would be looking at their parties today going, what the hell happened here?
And and they're afraid of Donald Trump. The establishment is afraid of Donald Trump because they're doing everything they can to keep him out of power. They're trying to, with all the lawsuits and stuff like that, they're trying to keep him from running for president again, because he's an outsider. He's not part of the political establishment. Even though in his history he's contributed money to both parties. It's kind of funny how all the Democrats in particular are jumping down his throat. When it was probably like 5-10 years ago, he was, probably more like 10 years ago, he was probably giving money to their campaigns.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I know somebody asked me, before, Trump got elected, who would be the best, with Trump in the running. I said, Trump, he can't be bought.
Yep. Yeah. And the thing is, when they say that he created all this economic damage and stuff, they're not lying. He created it on their system because he's an outsider. He didn't play their rules. He didn't play their games. And he messed everything they had planned all up. So that's why they're all up in a tizzy, because it wasn't supposed to go that way.
But for the average citizen, it went better.
That's right. Hey,
I think overall the economy did get better under Trump, and then Biden and the Democrats just screwed it all up again.
Well, and listen to them make excuses and blame Trump over and over, and it's like, that doesn't fly. It just does not fly.
Well, Trump could have probably got more done if Trump could have got more done if he basically had more of his people in power. He was dealing with a lot of rhinos that were in many ways blocking him. And granted, when he runs again, he might still have some of that, with some of them still being like McConnell being in power. But at least he's getting more of his people elected in now, because it looks like when the Republicans do take back the House and the Senate, he's going to have more of his people in there, and he's got a lot of governors races where he's getting his people in too. So a lot of shenanigans.
A load of governors on his side, eh? A load of governors.
Hey, so we got to welcome Tim, creator of Melvin, to the show. Hello, Tim.
The creator of Smelvin.
Yeah, look though, he's not even talking to us. He's above us. Tim. Oh, now I just feel bad. I think maybe he's muted or something, but I don't see the mute button.
Maybe he's just having mic problems, or maybe he walked away.
I was going to say maybe mic problems or something.
Maybe he's laughing at us. He's got it muted on the phone physically.
Okay, now we say mic problems, but are you two having problems, Mike, Tim?
No.
Yeah, you guys just did a show.
I think we had a pretty good time on Friday when we were talking about, because as I mentioned on Friday, he was making some of his commentary on at least one of the stories, the Mass Marvel story, was very similar to some of the commentary you had on that Zatara story we did a while back. Where they just were falling short of the details of, and I was pointing out to them, well, maybe they just felt that, because one of the stories we read was the Masked Marvel, which was a Golden Age hero that was published in Centaur Comics, Keen Detective Bunnies, right? And in this first story, they left a lot of details out, including the name of the so-called professor who supposedly developed the super shield that would keep everybody out of war. And Tim was all over that, and I go, well, maybe they just didn't, especially considering they just killed him off panel already. Maybe they just feel the need to name him.
Yeah, well, even the guy that is attributed to be like Lex Luthor, I don't think was even named in his first story.
Oh, Ultra Humanite? Wait. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about when we read the Ultra Humanite story in Superman.
No. Lex Luthor?
Yeah. Well, I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, not the one that we read with the Ultra Humanite. One where, like, I'm pretty sure Lex was by himself. And the guy that he was just like a mad scientist. They didn't give him a name. And later everybody attributes that's, I think, if I'm right, I could be wrong.
I've heard that too. I don't remember the exact story, but I think I've heard something about that.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Did you look at the private chat?
No.
Because Tim's communicating to us through there.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Text
Hi,
psychic.
no mic.
One issue,
Rick is from yesterday. Is where
sales
I just saw that.
I interrupted you in a sales pitch yesterday. Tim?
I'm not sure, but he's in the private.
Oh, he said no mic above that.
Yeah. That's what was like when he was doing his opening stream. It was cutting out at the end, wasn't it? Roboting and stuff.
Did Tim do a stream?
With you.
Oh,
the live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, Mike, Friday night, I remember him roboting a bit when I was falling asleep. I don't know if you could hear it through your StreamYard or if it was YouTube and it was just him talking at the right time. But
well, I mean, I don't remember hearing him robot. I think there were times at the end where he wasn't speaking much, but he was saying that he was starting to, become a little more tired at the end there. So.
Oh no, then it might have just been on my end. I don't usually complain when stuff robots because our internet is fantastic, except for like 2 minutes every hour. It seems to screw up, and it'll spread it out. But like you'll be watching something and I'll have to buffer for 10 seconds. And then it will be fine for like an hour, and then it'll buffer again. It's weird. It's cable. The more people on it, the slower it gets.
Rick, I think Tim has a response to you in the private chat.
I didn't know that. I didn't think I did that. Well, maybe once, and then I let you go on. I think I forget.
Yeah.
Oops.
Diana, are you feeling sick?
I have a cold. Yes, I'm sorry.
I know, but you're sounding miserable. Are you getting worse?
It's all right. I'll be fine.
I might close the door to the stairway. Put up the gate. Quarantine.
You're a jerk.
I know it's too late anyways. If I'm exposed, I'm exposed.
Yeah. I don't have
COVID.
COVID.
I mean, you
took COVID. It's not COVID.
As a married couple, I would imagine, Chris, you've already probably been exposed, considering you guys probably share the same bed. So.
Well, Diana's pretty awesome though. Like when I get poison ivy, she doesn't get it. When I got COVID, she tested positive, but didn't get bad at all.
I didn't have any symptoms. No. This is just a cold. I'm fine. I have no fever. I have no body aches. It's just at night it gets a little worse, and I work today. And
you have great hair tonight,
in a way, I had some very good, interesting health news today. I weighed myself this morning, and I was like 218.5, which is like the lowest I've been weight-wise in a while.
That's awesome.
Like the first time in a while I've been below 220. So.
Wow. Good for you, Mike.
Yeah.
How tall are you? Because I always thought you were like 6'10". Now I'm not so sure.
I'm like 5'8", 5'9", around there.
Oh, wow. We're like the same height. Yeah.
Yeah.
On screen, you look much bigger. I figured you were a big burly guy. You know.
Well, I'm not Hulk Hogan or anything like that. I got a little bit of a belly on me. You know.
Oh yeah, I got one of those. The big bass drum.
Yeah, same here.
Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to go get ready to get my show going. So,
all right, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Quick, tonight, we'll just be going over some news stories, a couple anime stories at the beginning, and then I'll probably be filling out the time by going over to CBR and getting stories in there as well. So a couple of key things to be aware of for you guys. This Friday, of course, will be our next historical comedy retrospect. RJ will be co-hosting with me this Friday. We'll be going over comics that went on sale from David McKay Publications and Eastern Color from June of 1939. We'll be reading primarily out of Famous Funnies number 60. Then this Monday, Halloween, I'm going to be doing an open mic, open panel. Focusing in, of course, on Halloween and any kind of niche that involves like ghosts and all that. Favorite cartoons, and the sort. And then next Friday, of course, I have YouTube coming. The Tomoloviches, Chris and Diane, coming in, and we'll be still in June of 1939. We'll be focusing in on Dixon House. And I know I'll have some reading. I will definitely have some female characters for you to read.
Yay!
One of the characters we'll be doing one of the stories we'll be doing is Sheena of the Jungle. So hope you'll look forward to that. Anyways, guys, thanks for having me, and I hope to see you guys in a bit.
Alrighty.
I don't have an issue if you guys feel like you want to stream snipe me or whatever.
Yeah, I might do that. Yeah.
And then when you guys are finished, if you guys can still keep up, go ahead and pop on over.
Alrighty.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Perfect.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
So Tim's still muted, huh? His mic is
Well,
out.
yeah, I think he was saying he has no mic earlier for some reason. Something happened to his
Something
mic.
about his mic, yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me do this real quick. This is in honor of Tim. His book is now funding. It's only a 30-second fight, though. But I was surprised he didn't complain about the music because usually he likes it a little harder. But I was trying to lighten it up a little to try to attract more of a mainstream audience. I'll probably do another one for everybody because I feel like I'm out of sync. Like something's not quite right, and I know it's the elections.
Yeah.
Yep. How you doing, Diana?
I'm okay.
You look busy.
I am, but it's all right. I'm paying attention. You guys are talking election stuff. I don't do all that.
We went back to the 1939 comics.
I know. I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been talking about doing a read-along type thing.
It's not happened yet. We were supposed to do it Tuesday, and then I had a cold. And then today, obviously, we have the show, and I had another interview, and so yeah, it's been crazy. What?
Well, we'll have to pick up the pace.
Yes, we do, because every time we do. I'm working on getting our books in Barnes and Nobles and Walmart. What's it called? It's like it's not Walmart.com. It's Walmart crap sales or something like that. And it's an online platform. Barnes and Nobles is very similar to Amazon. You can upload your book. You can't take the Amazon book and put it onto Barnes and Nobles. You have to go through the whole process again, which is fine. So we'll have at least 2 locations that you can find our books. So I'm excited about that.
It really changes the dynamic of comics, though, because we're no longer dealing with like a limited print run or a one-time monthly. This actually makes the books available 24/7, whether you're buying issue 1 or issue 4.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of market. I'm not saying I'm against it because it's 21st century and we need to sell wherever we can sell, but it's weird.
Well, the only thing I would suggest with that is if you're putting it on those places and then doing a crowdfunding at the same time, maybe have a different cover for the crowdfunding.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do a few things to differentiate them. And like when we sell stuff from our website, we can sell it at a slightly higher premium and offer, perks, everything from a signature to stickers or something that you won't get from Amazon and Barnes.
Absolutely.
But it could help by having more tentacles out there, but it could also weaken the tentacles we have, which is not that huge of a deal. It's not like we're selling a lot of books, but you know what I mean? It could be, it's one of those.
I think it's worth a chance. I don't think it's something
I'm not
guess or anything like that. I feel like it's going to be okay. I feel like it's just another place that people can find our books who maybe don't go to Amazon. As far as the Walmart, they actually reached out to us, and I'm sure they're trying to grow their little online presence for independent comics and stuff. So,
well, they want to get in on the publishing. They want to get people going over there to see buy books from them instead of Amazon.
Which is good, which is, so I've been working on that. Like I said, I'm kind of in this whole job hunting thing and have a job, but who knows what that's going to look like. So,
heck, I just bought this Justice League International Part 2 at the local dollar store, or maybe not dollar store. It's like $4.50 and under. So, and this only cost me like $4.
Wow, that's awesome. That's another part.
That shows you how thick it is. This, of course, is DC from back in the day.
And that's another thing too, guys. Like, we're battling, the bigger names. I mean, he just picked up that book for $4. Well, we can't print that for $4.
Neither can they. I bet you that's a more expensive book right off the press, right, Rick? That was in a discount store.
Yeah. Let's see how much was it originally?
I'll bet you it was at least 12. I could be wrong.
I'm getting the UK price, which was £10.
All right, so that's probably like $8 American, right?
Well, close to £11. Australia, it was $21. New Zealand, $22. I can't even see the original Canadian price or US price on here.
I wonder if that's just an overseas print, maybe. Like they never. And they're on clearance here.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I've gotten a bunch of this stuff like at the dollar store too. So
you can.
Well, keep in mind though, like I know I just said that it bothers me when we say we're fighting culture, and Rick just bought a DC, like I was saying, but Rick's not one of the guys I'm talking about, because there are guys out there that make it their shield, their forwardness, right. It's we're here to fight the culture war, and they hate Marvel and they hate DC, and then they're like reviewing the latest book, and I'm like, huh? Or they're like complaining because Disney Plus sucks, and I'm like, how do you even know it sucks? Get off that station. But it's just crazy. It would be like go ahead.
I just said I went to see Black Adam yesterday.
Was it good?
Yeah.
It was all right. I don't think it was. It could have easily been called the Justice Society movie.
Really?
Although there was only like 4 Justice Society members in it. And I don't think they got them right. Hawkman was a black guy. Carter
Yeah,
Hall,
that was
Hawkman.
strange, wasn't it? I saw that in the previews, and I was like, "Oh."
I didn't realize that. It was sort of all right. That they had Dr. Fate be like sort of like an old gentleman type guy.
Yeah.
Where he's supposed to be paranoid and kooky and all that. From what I know, he's not supposed to really have it almost all together. He's
He
supposed
should
to
be
have
powerful, though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
by that, I mean in his alter ego, he's not really stable, or from what I know of him, anyways. And Black Adam didn't really seem to compute from what I know of the comic. Him in the comics and that. He was all right, but eh.
I always thought he was like a dark villain. I didn't realize he was some sort of anti-hero.
Well, that's what they've done recently, made him into an anti-hero. Of course, when they first probably introduced him in, I think in Fawcett Comics, as a villain of Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah,
not Shazam.
Yeah.
Shazam was his mechanism for changing. That was his Power Ranger routine, Mighty Morphin. He was Shazam, and he was actually probably the first one, at least in modern pop.
Yeah. But again, I'm not sure how he was introduced in there, or how whether DC stuck to it when they brought him over. So,
I just always remembered him as being like a bad Shazam or a bad Captain Marvel. He was very similar, lightning bolt, like the Reverse Flash, like Bizarro.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Joker's
he got his powers from different gods, if you will, than Shazam. Shazam was more Greek. He was more Egyptian.
That makes sense.
Did you like it? Like, was it worth it?
I was seeing it on a cheap day, so it was definitely worth a cheap day price. It might have been worth a regular day price, but just barely. I'm glad I went to see it on cheap day. I wasn't falling asleep in my seat or anything, but I wasn't on the edge of my seat either.
Right.
So
somebody like myself who doesn't really have a whole interest in that, I probably will just wait until it comes out.
I'm evaluating it through a comic guy person. Now, somebody like you who knows probably next to nothing.
Right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. No,
comics are the characters.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit more enjoyable.
Right. That's true too, because a lot of times I'll go and see a film and I really like it, and then of course Chris doesn't see any of those films anymore. He doesn't really do much like that, so I don't really have he's already has a negative perspective on it, so I don't really talk to him about it. But I can tell you that normally I like the movie, but I don't have all of that emotional connection to when it was the real good stuff, and when before Marvel was tainted by the unspeakable one that I can't say.
Although Marvel changed the character stuff, obviously from the comics, usually I'm trying to evaluate the movies, or what TV shows, based on what I might know from the comic books, how much it lines up, and that usually is what makes it suck or doesn't suck for me, or maybe even how much they keep the spirit of the character right. Okay, maybe they've changed some details of the story. Like, we'll take Batman Begins, right? I went in thinking that was going to suck.
Right.
And I ended up really liking it because it kept the spirit of Batman there. Now, did they get the story right to the comic books? No.
So when you compare it to the comic book, oftentimes it doesn't hold up. But
Well,
the
much
spirit
like
of
you
the
would a
movie of the gist of
novelized
the movie. What's
like
that?
a movie based on a novel. The people who've read the novels will go back and read the movie, or you know what I mean. They'll judge the movie on what they saw.
And that's very unfair because there's two different mediums there. You have the novel, which has to be a lot.
Well, it's unfair in your mind, but to a fan who's in love with something, it can be the
Right?
difference between making their day or really disappointing them.
That's not true because that's one of the things that I'm learning in class is that, for instance, The Hunger Games, okay, or Gone Girl, two novels that turned into movies. And I read both books and I liked them for the fact that they were a novel. There were some differences from the movie, but it was understandable. A couple that they did, I didn't quite understand why the movie changed it from where the novel had it. Like when she found the Mockingjay pin and stuff like that, they didn't really have to change it because they could have used how the novel wrote it. But in Gone Girl, again, I liked both the book and the movie for different reasons. Like, does that make sense? Like, the
Well, it
movie
makes sense for you, but I promise you, I'm not lying to you. There are some people who there is a stark difference, and if that movie doesn't hit it on all the tones for them, it is true. People cannot get into the same zone that you do because everybody's different,
Right.
Like some of the X-Men stuff I've loved, some of the stuff I've hated, and it really directly relates to characters, maintaining their character from the comics.
Right.
Yeah. Although
Like
there was the original X-Men trilogy or whatever, or the original X-Men movie. I didn't like the fact that they weren't in their, regular
Yes.
costume. Yeah.
Yes, that was crap.
But overall, the movie was all right. But the fact that they weren't in their costumes really put a downer on the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially their costumes, because the X-Men were very blessed to have some great costume designs, especially for their time. And seeing them in that standard leather X suit was just like, oh, low budget. Okay. But it wasn't that so much, I don't think. I think they just were afraid to go all out at that point. X-Men was before the Avengers. It was before, the Marvel extravaganza.
Yeah.
What was, I guess, their contemporary
they had
would be,
movies before, somewhat.
yeah.
Well,
they had the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, but it's not. Well, oh, you mean the live action, the ones from the movies?
I mean the ones with Jessica Alba, yeah.
Yeah, but when you said the Fantastic Four, there was a fantastic made-for-TV movie, I think, before that, and it had David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Oh my word! Sorry, David Hasselhoff.
He made a good Nick Fury in the sense of
hold on, Mom.
One.
Okay,
what's that?
So my mom was trying to say something, but I didn't hear her because you guys were talking, and obviously I don't think you heard her. What were you going to say, Mom?
Diana might like the Kevin Sorbo movies I have.
Yeah, okay.
I can't find them at the moment. But...
The what movies?
Oh, Kevin Sorbo, the guy that did Hercules and Andromeda. He has some of his own Christian faith-based movies now.
Oh, really?
And my mom was saying that you might like
I
those.
might, yeah. Can you get them on like YouTube or
yeah, you can get them on either his site or you might be able to get them on Amazon.
Okay, I'll have to check it out for sure. Thank you.
27 days left from Melbourne, too. I'm reading the chat, so I thought I'd share that.
And he's at 65% of his goal.
That's awesome.
You're going to make it, man.
You're gonna make it after all.
I should have known better. You know that song, right, honey?
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think she died. Did she die or something?
Yeah.
Oh, probably. So.
It's been a while for her. So is Ed Asner and Ted Knight. They're all gone.
And I agree, Timothy. X-Men 3 was weak. You know, unfortunately, that's the problem. A lot of number 3 movies do seem to be.
Was X-Men 3 the Dark Phoenix one?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Which one was that? The one? So was that the last Dark Phoenix one, or the one with the?
Well, they both sucked.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? That's kind of funny. Yeah. So the last one sucked because she was like saying change the X-Men name, and the first one sucked just because the whole thing sucked. I remember
Well,
the first. That was with fake Deadpool.
There was more than that for why that X-Men movie sucked with the X
Oh yeah,
people.
yeah. No, that's just that's how I flag it. It's like, oh yeah, it's the one where she's bitching about the X-Men needing a change because all the women are bailing them out. Oh, ow. Hurt my head.
Yeah. You forget the word "man" just encompasses all of society in that case. You know.
Well, it should at least, and they don't want it to. They want to be rebellious.
But
we should start doing God chats again so we can talk about the biblical context of that, because there really is a big context about how God set things up, and I find it to be no mistake in the world that they are opposing everything they possibly can without just flat out killing people in plain sight.
Well, it just reminds me of the scripture: right shall become wrong, and wrong shall become right.
Amen, brother. And it's weird because we're watching it, and maybe, I'm not one who's set in my ways of, oh, it's the end of the world. It might be just a really bad streak, but it's really bad. Like, I've never seen anything like this. And you go through history, and there were points where it was pretty bad, but this is on a level between the internet and media and weapons and money. It's nasty.
Well, I was just gonna say, days of Noah, like Sodom and Gomorrah.
It sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Certainly lining up to those.
And like I said, I don't want to make that. I don't want to be that doomsday guy, but it could be.
Yeah, but another major thing is, and this is quite some time ago happening, but Israel coming back as a nation. That's one of the signs or prophecies. They were like almost 2,000 years from not being a nation, and then like 1,800, 1,900 years later, however you want to figure the time out, they come to be a nation again. It's like never happened ever.
And there was some
and it was said it was going to happen, over 2,000 years ago.
There was some really cool stuff in that too, like when they set up the fake tanks and scared off all the Muslims that were going to invade Israel, but they were like, but they were really like wooden facsimiles of tanks and totally fooled out their military. And then I think they went in and killed them with real stuff. Because one thing for sure, Israel's not a wussy.
Yeah. Timothy goes 1948. Yeah, that was 1948 when they became a nation again.
Right.
But you also could consider 1967 when they got Jerusalem back as the date, because they did not get Jerusalem back at first. Although they became a nation, and
in a sense, they're still like sharing the temple. It's still basically a Muslim location, the Temple Mount.
Yeah. But Timothy, I was also considering, I'm not sure exactly when they stopped being a nation, whether it was, 100 to 200 years, 100.5 years, after the 2000 mark.
But all I know is I really don't care what Israel does and doesn't do. I'm never going to go against it. I mean, unless they're blatantly antichrist, but
yeah.
I'm trying always to honor Israel because that's God's chosen people in my mind. I could be wrong again.
Well, you can honor them, but say that they're doing something wrong,
Yeah, but I don't know what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, well,
they always seem to be on the right side of the argument. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. Oh yeah. Maybe I don't know. I was told today I was racist because somebody said, yeah, I know, I don't freaking get that. But somebody said to me, I owe every step on this land to Indians. And I said, I don't understand that. Like, I don't owe anything to Indians for my steps. And they were saying we stole the land, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, I get that, and that all sucks, but I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, if anything,
Yeah. Well,
I'm a sympathizer.
Well, and actually, you didn't. From what I know, you didn't. They didn't steal it. They technically conned them out of it. And,
Right.
well,
And when it wasn't a con job, it was a fight. And I'm like, so these guys, I'm sorry, but they just didn't have what it took to keep the Europeans from taking over. And like, that's not my fault. I can sit here and tell you how pissed off I am about a lot of it. Like when they put the flu, the blankets with the flu in it and got everybody, dying.
yeah, but then there's the question of did they actually know that was going to happen? Because they didn't understand.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that it depends on who you read. Some people are like, yeah, it was intentional, but you're right. They may not have known that.
Because, they didn't know about spreading diseases and quite as much as we do nowadays, like something like that.
Well, back then, I think you're right, because back then I think they were still trying to use leeches to suck illnesses out of people. So
yeah, and back then they were still bloodletting when they thought something was wrong with your blood, and when the Bible says life is in the blood, sort of maybe not let let somebody bleed out.
Well, man has always been more than willing to try crazy things for super solutions. And whenever I think about like all the craziness we see in science today, I remember like lobotomies were just 80 years ago one of the biggest supported mental health tools in medical history, and turned out to be all bunk and not good. And they still use it in rare cases, but it was like, oh, Rick, you have anger issues? We're going to drill a hole in your head and just pluck out a little piece of that flesh and see if that doesn't change your attitude. And then when people were zombies, when they were done, they're like, it's wonderful. Look, no more fits.
Yeah, okay. Mighty Geek says the Europeans were squatters, actually.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I don't not sympathize with the tragedy of it. And I don't like look at it and want to rub anybody's face in it. But the fact is, historically, the Indians got obliviated one way or another, whether it was conning, fighting, whatever. I mean, we came in with guns. They had bows and arrows, until they got guns from our people selling them to them, I'm sure. Because that's how the Europeans were. And that's what Americans' roots are. It's from Europe.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the way things have been for like probably almost 6,000 years. We'll say 4,000 years, almost 4,000 years.
I told him, I said, like, if somebody tried to kill your tribes now, we would all stand up and protect you. But like, we weren't there. There's nothing I can do to change that.
But
so sad.
My point is more, nations were conquering nations for like 4,000 have been doing that for like 4,000 years.
Yeah, some of the best parts in the Old Testament were in Babylon after Israel was defeated.
Yeah, but I'm not even just talking like what we have for biblical history, but all around the world. Different
definitely.
Nations conquering nations for more land, more whatever. It's just the way of things.
Yeah. The Romans, the Greeks.
Yeah. I'm just sort of said that. I didn't say that.
But like one of the things they want to do is like create a new Indian nation within America. And I'm like, you can't do that. The 50 states cannot have like a foreign country in the middle of it and still function like America. One of the unique things is we have like a core piece of land with no interruption. Nobody wants to understand that. Like the second they put a foreign country in there, guess who's going to try to move in? Russia, China, Iran. Anybody on the outside is going to try to get their diplomatic grips into it. Now they're going to have open air space for planes to fly into it. They can't have a foreign country in the middle of the 50 states. It's just not going to be.
Well, I'd say you technically could, because look at Europe. It's all it's what.
Well, you could
60,
if you compromise,
70.
But they would have to compromise. One of the things about America is like there's nobody who's flying in and out of it without them knowing about it, in theory at least, right? Mm-hmm. But in Europe, like how do you do that? Every country is different. Like they must really have I don't want to say it's all. I'm sure they're used to it.
Obviously, I'm not sure all the ways it's set up, but say you want to get to Hungary, and if you have to fly over Spain to get to there, you get the permissions to fly over Spain.
Yeah, they must have something in place. Yeah, they have to. Something where they have permission to do it.
So that's all what it would be like with the States.
I just don't think America would do that. Like, I don't think the government would see that as like a major issue. Like I don't know how bad Canada is, but when it comes to national defense, America is strong because they're paranoid. Like,
well, they have been for some things, yes. Although like I know with Canada, the province of Quebec has tried to sort of separate a couple times. They've had a referendum, and basically the people said no. The last time it was really close. I know Alberta, the part of the West, has talked about it too, just because they usually get the short end of the stick from the East, Ottawa, and that.
Wow,
so,
that's bad. But I mean, that's history, and that's life, and that's evolution of human society. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
I keep waiting for California or Texas to secede.
But then again, it's finding enough space. I think the biggest thing for the Indians, and would be who would let them claim enough land. Yeah, sure, there's all the reserves, but unless all the reserves went, quote unquote, became one nation, and then that would spread it out all throughout the states.
Yeah,
I don't think the biggest problem is them getting together and I think forming, taking over, like a chunk of land in some state or multiple states, that's all connected to form a new quote unquote nation. That would be their biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be huge. Yeah, that almost happened with the Civil War.
Yeah,
the South and the North dividing up.
Yeah, and that would if that would have succeeded, you just would have had two different nations, probably. United States North, United States South, or something like that.
Yeah, by now it would have probably been a peaceful thing. They probably would have worked out all the details, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I wasn't around for that one either.
Yeah. Well, heck, if you actually go back and look over a lot of the history of, we'll say, North America, it's involved what it would have been part of Canada and the States. You know, so it's really whacked. I've been watching it through some other videos. People, trying to learn about Canada, and I learned a little bit myself. Like there was one time, I think the Hudson Bay Company owned somewhere like from the north part of Canada, part of the north part of Canada, all the way down to like, almost Mexico, or maybe into Mexico.
No kidding. That's insane. A company, right?
Yeah. Or Britain, and then Britain owned a piece, France, and just all the wars that broke out over this stuff. If you really learn your history, it's not one nation conquering, and then, with the fur trade and all that, there was a couple companies too, because things were different, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, and how things were there, like the Hudson Bay Company, I think it was, owned literally part of, thing, and then they sold off part of what was to become Canada to, the Canadian government, or what would become the Canadian government.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they sold off part to the States or whatever. I'm butchering it, but there's a lot of videos out there that you can go watch this.
Yeah, but you're giving it a good effort. That's a good thing.
There's lots
How
of
did
videos.
we get here? That's what I want to know. How did we get to history of like?
Well, some people say Christopher Columbus, but I hear that's all a fraud.
That's not even funny, Chris.
Well, how did we get here?
I don't know. You guys started talking about
one little step at a time.
One little step at a time. The two of you stop.
Baby steps.
So Melvin is what, 65% funded?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Rick, how are you doing with your? Is it finished? already?
No, I've got like just under 4 days left. I need $186
Yeah.
Canadian.
Okay.
So
So like
that's probably about
we need $20 Americans. Let's go.
so that's probably somewhere between 100 and 100 and a half American.
Wow.
And how do we have what kind of rush are we doing this last week? Uh-oh. We got to get you on shows. Oprah, man. We got to get you on Oprah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, all the big shows that I was supposed to be on, they all fell through. Like I asked Mandy to, back when I was doing Indiegogo to get on hers. Oh, she said yes, and then, never contacted me again.
Ouch.
Michael Bancroft, same thing. This Lola Meets, I was supposed to do her show last Wednesday, and then she's asked to reschedule to the next day. No, I was supposed to do Tuesday or Wednesday, and then it got rescheduled to the next day. And came and went, and nothing happened. And I asked her what happened, and she hasn't got back to me.
Oh, man.
That's not fun. That's not cool.
No, you know what? I don't get. Well, I don't want to talk bad. I don't know what happened. She might be.
My hair alone.
But he's talking to his mom.
Oh, like
She's
what?
trying to cut his hair. She's got a pair of scissors back there. He can't see them.
No, she doesn't. I accidentally muted you. Well, turned down my volume on my headphones for a second with the hair. She's got a pair of scissors there.
Yeah, I said that.
But I didn't hear what you said just before that. After I said, "Leave my hair alone."
I'm not even sure. I was just riffing on it. I was like, "Yeah, let's mess with Ricky. Scissors." I don't know. Somehow I've been blessed. Diana hasn't cut mine yet.
Yeah.
I still have it back in a ponytail tonight, though.
Well,
and my mom said something. The Vikings were here first in Newfoundland area.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Like, can you imagine if the Indians hadn't been conquered? Like they were so in touch with like nature. It would have been interesting to see how they evolved on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
We came in with guns.
Well, heck, I'm going to end up doing something in my comics. It's going to be like if I get 5 or 6 years into it. Well, storyline wise, not technically, I've been at it longer than that. But what I consider the 5-6 year mark, somebody's going to go back in time and assassinate Mary and Joseph.
Oh. Before or after?
Before Christ is born.
Oh. That's an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
The basic short of it is, Christ obviously ends up coming, but it's going to be delayed by like 2,000 years.
Right.
Oh.
So, I'm going to create a completely different world. And it happens just after what I call my year of hell, where I put my heroes through all this year of hell. And the Canadian Shield's in the future at this point, just about to come back in time. And then alarms start going off on the space station he's on. That is the headquarters of my Avenger type characters. And temporal anomaly detected. Temporal shields up. And it starts beaming up a bunch of heroes, and, so before they can be caught in the re-wake of time, time being altered.
Mm-hmm.
And then time outside the space station changes. Because Rome is, I thought of just continuing Rome, but I think, Rome will have continued longer, but because I was getting that idea from the Star Trek episode where they had a Roman Empire on another world.
Yes.
In modern day. But I thought, no, Rome's going to get conquered by some other, thing or whatever. And then, some of my main heroes, like my character Insecto's not actually going to have got beamed up. So somebody else is gonna from that timeline is gonna become Insecto, and a couple
That's
of my
kind of
other
cool.
because the guy that is Insecto in the normal timeline, they go to him and he just says, "Screw off." He's not, a follower of God or Yahweh or whatever, how I'm going to put it for that timeline, and he wants nothing to do with it. So they end up finding somebody else somebody actually who's probably supposed to be listening close to when they're talking to him. He ends up becoming the Insecto for that timeline, and Insecto is going to go have a completely different look for that timeline.
That's cool.
That sounds pretty interesting. So,
and
like,
then there's going to be other heroes like that are going to be different and all that for different reasons. Have different looks.
you're having a crisis, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I haven't figured all the details out because that's like I said, that's way off to happen in my comic book verse.
Yeah, I was wondering how many issues that would be away.
Oh, that's going to be like 60 times 5, around 300 issues. That 300 issues of, say, the Canadian Shield in approximately.
Right.
Or maybe a little bit more because maybe I should be going from somewhere between 300 and 312. That's going to start, apparently.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot, bro.
Hey, it's very far out there,
That's true. No, I mean, I can't even think about 300 issues. And I've done quite a few now, but it's like, wow. Like like Eric Larson, I'm not a big fan of his, but he's done, God, like Savage Dragon has been going on forever. I forget how many issues it's up to, but I think it was some sort of record.
But, yeah, that's far out, but guess what? That's why I don't have super details. Right now I'm focused on the first year and a half,
Right.
I get out there that far. I know I have a plan for this major event. I don't know all the details of what's happening, issue
right.
for
It's
issue.
It's gonna shape itself as you get closer.
Yeah. I just know that's an event I want to do at that point. Like my first year and a half event is my warriors coming together, forming, my Avengers, my Justice League, if you will. Second year and a half, like I was my Justice League's been formed for a year. Then we're gonna get a glimpse into the future. Like my Legion of Superheroes.
Right. So will you do adventures in the future?
I would like for that comic to be a monthly title, but it depends on
I remember Legion of Superheroes being like a trip to me because Superboy was time traveling and going to it or whatever, or at least that was my perception of it.
Yeah, he was a lot of times, but I'm not going to have that happen. It's just the Warriors, of course, are going to be involved a little bit in it, in them forming, or they're going to help them face their first major foe.
Right.
It sounds like you have a good plan, though.
And then I have a couple other ideas for the 2-year mark, the 3-year mark, the 4-year mark, the 5-year mark. Everything's just going to go to hell, which I got that idea from Voyager, the Year of Hell.
Right.
I have to go rewatch that. You've referenced it like 2 or 3 times now.
But
I don't remember it well enough to be able to.
I don't remember. I got the idea, the name, So like one of my character, the Wiz, he's gonna get ostracized from the major Christian superhero community because he's getting a little too big for his britches. He thinks he's all that and a box of chocolates. My character Insecto, his wife is gonna have gotten a superhero suit and sort of stalking him without him knowing it, his wife, so putting him in temptation for his wife as a different character without him knowing.
You're messing with him.
A Canadian Shield is going to get his suit stolen and have to go to the future to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to gender swap or race swap him at any point?
No. well, yeah. Actually, technically, yes and no. The Mighty Warriors, the group that they helped to form in the future, is all their descendants, and for most of them, it is the opposite. Like the one that takes on the mantle of the shield will be
Right.
his great 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 granddaughter.
Oh, cool.
And for Insecto again, great 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 granddaughter. And same for the other characters. They're gonna have their great 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 grandchildren take on either their mantle or somebody else's mantle in the Warriors.
Right. Man, I haven't even got that much planned out. I have a lot of wide-reaching concepts. Like with Man Guy, I didn't think in terms of storyline when I started it. I thought in terms of vehicle. So I was trying to figure out how can I tell a group of stories that I want to tell and create a vehicle that can carry these characters through the progression. And that was when anime really started kicking into my head. And to be honest, it doesn't look very you can see some manga influence, but it's just a lot more of me, more refined. Like, God, some of the artwork, Rick. Because you guys keep showing me that Dillard. Oh, every time you show me freaking Dillard, I'm like, that's it. Going back to the drawing board. I got to get better. I got to do better. And it's not like everything Dillard draws is awesome because I've seen some lower standard stuff for him. But when he's on, oh my God, I'm like, dude, what are you doing in indies? You should be like running a studio somewhere. Some of his stuff is just all I can do is say, I'm not worthy. Like that one, oh God, now I'm aging myself, but I want to say Ben and Jerry's, but that wasn't it. It was the movie Wayne's World. Yes. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I mean, I am. I'm not over the top like stupid, but damn, Rick, he's good. He's got some good chops.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, pro level chops. Like, okay, go ahead and go look some people in the eye and show them how to draw.
Well,
funny, Chris.
Here you go, Chris. I'll show you some Dillard stuff. This is Snowdrift number 2. The first 5 pages. There's page 1.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. He's got a really good feel.
There's page 2.
Now, let me ask. He can actually draw in different styles, right?
I think so if he wants to.
I think he's got, I think I've seen him do different styles, which is something I love. But this stuff is all it reminds me kind of Neil Adams. It's very realistic looking and awesome.
Yeah, and I've actually got this stuff inked, not by me, but somebody else. I got somebody else doing the inking. I should show you the inked versions.
Yeah, Rick, you're really just pissing me off now. I got to stay up all night drawing. Dylan, if you're watching, though, I do love your work, bro. I'm only teasing. But the dynamics and stuff, I'm hoping to, through looking at Dillard, be inspired to do better. And I've seen it already. Oh, is that another page? See, I just make you smaller, and then you go pull up an inked one.
Yeah, well, Fly Fox Pro, I'm not sure whether you know who he is. He inked the first 5 pages for me. He's going to be the inker on it. There's page 1 again inked. Page 2 again inked. Page 3 again inked. The only thing I don't like that he did is fill in the background here in some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means that's going to make it harder for me to fill in the background.
You won't just color over that?
I can do some color, but it will, even with taking away, making it like here. I'll show you what I mean. Converting brightness to opacity. It's still gonna have those lines there, and I can do some sort of color, like.
You might just you might just want to erase them if they're going to be a real issue.
Right. Oh, that didn't even work. Let's get a hair underneath. See,
Yeah, it depends if you like that. I do a lot of washes in my background. So like with that, I'd probably do a mild wash of whatever the current background color would be, the general one.
Yeah. See, there's the color that I'm wanting, and there's the color it ends up, you know?
Right, because it's under all those lines.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it might need a little editing. But if that's your biggest complaint in the guy's art, that's pretty incredible, right? I mean, that's not
inking.
In his inking, yeah, that's not a big deal. That's like one panel that you got to edit a little. Everything else looks fantastic, Rick.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
And this guy's giving me a really, really, really good deal.
Very cool.
And after I get through doing Canadian Shield 1, the revamp of it, or the remaster, I'm going to start coloring those pages. And I'm going to start doing Canadian Shield number 3.
Nice.
And hopefully at that time I've convinced somebody to do the Flame number 1.
The whole book, huh?
Yeah.
How many pages is it? 24?
22, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 23.
I don't know if we have any artists listening that are interested, but if you're watching, Cross Comics is easily found. How do we tell people to find you, by the way? Is that just telling them to go to your Twitter or?
Yeah. Twitter, email me.
Facebook?
Obviously somebody forgets a question they asked them last week. With saying that.
What's that? I don't remember last week at all, Rick.
I asked whether you'd be willing to do it.
Oh, no, I don't remember at all.
Rick, I do remember. And Chris said he was going to think about it.
Yeah. Well, he can't think about it if he doesn't remember.
Well, no, but see, that's kind of what I was saying earlier.
Well, he doesn't. Go ahead, Chris.
What I was saying earlier was seriously like, I can't wait for midterms to get over. My brain is like mush. Like I'm at work and I'm a computer tech and typos galore. And like I'm going to work on a project and I get sidetracked and distracted by little side jobs on the way. And it's the rattle brain, you know. It's like when I get too caught up in other things, I can break away from them, but then I'm like kind of stutter stop, you know. It's like yeah, what was I supposed to do again? I don't know, but I see this has to get done, so I'll do this first. And then like by the time I remember what I was doing, I've done 3 things trying to remember what I went out to do. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think this is how Trump haters were feeling when Trump was at his peak. Because like Biden keeps just saying stuff and I'm like, it can't get worse. Oh, what did he just say? and it's not just Biden, it's all the politicians. They're like all talking crap. And it's hard to find anybody I like it all because they're all just being crazy.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, yeah, Trump may say something stupid, but then he could do something completely great. How can you? Okay, I want to be mad at you for saying something stupid, but you did something great. So you're like, why am I mad?
What screws Trump up is just that if he had ever mastered the Clinton Obama type public persona, he would have been reelected without an issue. But you know, the attitude, people built up a hatred for him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say without an issue because you got to remember, even just when he announced that he was doing it, everybody came out and started hating on him. Yet, you know, the day before, they all loved him.
Do you remember when he first was hinting? People were laughing. They were like, "No way, he'll never run, and if he did, he'll never ever get close to being nominated." And then, boom, hello. I remember I saw a clip. Ann Coulter was asked who was the the forerunner in the Republican race in her mind, and she said Trump, and they laughed at her like a round table of talk show hosts. And then he won the presidency. Sorry, it was weird, but he did it.
Yeah, because through his show, he connected with a lot of people.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I never did really watch The Apprentice. Never. I saw clips.
What? Before he had become president, I never watched it.
Right.
I get like you. It's like clips, and okay, I thought he was a bit of a jerk from them or whatever, or stuff that I heard or seen or whatever. But I also knew that he'd make probably a great president because he couldn't be bought.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny to me was when I first heard about it, I remembered him in the Vince McMahon thing. That was my main callback to Trump. Oh yeah, the billionaire that messed with McMahon. And yes, I know it's all fake, folks, but it was still fun to watch.
But I remember people thinking that he'd be so easy to hit the button or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I went back after he was president, or actually probably more near the 2020 election, and I watched all the seasons of The Apprentice, one after another. I binged it, and I'm like, wow, I got a totally different opinion of him. Well, I shouldn't say totally different, because by then he'd earned a lot of respect in my eyes just for the 4 years and stuff. But like if you had watched The Apprentice beforehand, there's no way that you would ever say that he would come close to pressing the button.
Right.
Anybody who knew Trump, and I'm sure I didn't even really know him from these, I got to know him enough from that. He would have never pressed the button. That's not who he was.
Well, I never really thought that was the issue with him. They did. But I always thought he was just kind of like a cocky rich guy. And really, everything I've ever seen from him, it's been the cocky rich guy. And, it's kind of like Elon Musk. People get upset about Elon all the time. I think it's a riot. I have absolutely no big problem with Elon at all.
Yeah, but he can be a very great guy. I've even seen a clip or two where, one day he went to help out at his, learn about one of his hotels better, and he was helping the wait staff. Now probably a bit of a more PR thing, but he went around with this black maid on his thing, and did whatever she said, from what I can tell, to help her out.
Is this Trump we're talking about?
Yeah. Somebody who worked at his hotel. She happened to be black. He treated her good and all that, And he did that for, all the different jobs at the hotel or whatever. Or maybe it was one day. So maybe he went around with her for an hour. Maybe not the whole day. I don't know. It was, like a 5-minute clip thing that I saw.
Right.
If that, but I thought, that shows you how much of a decent guy he is. And, if you, I would suggest watching The Apprentice. It actually shows how much of a nice guy he is.
I might have to, but to be honest, I don't watch really much TV. I watch a lot of YouTube. And even then, it's mindless stuff. Like, it's stuff I fall asleep to.
Well, guess what? You can do that to The Apprentice, I'd say. It's a reality show. Come on. How much mind does it take to watch a reality show?
That was the show that What's-Her-Face came from. The lady that was on The Apprentice and then turned into one of his cabinet members, and then he had to kick her out. She was crazy.
Oh, yeah, I think so. The black girl.
Yes, I don't remember her name.
I know the name off in my mind. He actually also tried to do a Bachelor type thing for her, too.
Really?
Show.
Not like for himself, but to get her hooked up with somebody?
Yeah. He did a Bachelor show for her. Oh, she was... And he had her on like the show 2 or 3 times. And she got somewhat far, but she never ever won it. And that was because of her personality and bad attitude.
You mean she's not a sweetheart?
No, not even close. Trump's nicer than her.
I'm very surprised. No, I'm not. Wow. Well, I don't know. I'm not like too excited about Trump, but he was, in my mind, a better choice than Clinton, and he proved to be much better than I think anybody thought he was going to be. And the Dems just hate him, and it's almost unimaginable the way that he's been treated, because I'm just
How
like,
did we get here?
I think it was Columbus.
So,
okay, maybe we should try and talk about something else.
Well,
This is a comic channel, right?
it's a comic book channel, and we're talking about Trump. I'm like, how did we get here?
I guess it's just remorse for the nation and what we had before, but that's just it. Like, I would love to see a better answer out of either party. I have my doubts that I could follow a Democrat because of the there's so much anti-God in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that maybe that's a bigoted opinion of mine, but I just don't see it as very godly.
Well, all I can say, Diana, is he just seemed to trump the conversation.
There you go. I don't stand a chance. I don't stand a chance.
Hey, just make chat great again, honey.
Okay, when can we talk about comics?
No, well, Chris, you haven't really talked about main guy issue, kind of, except that you're like working.
Well, I mean, Mangai Yoshokin is in process. You've read where
still
I'm at.
In pre-launch. We're still in pre-launch.
Yes, it's still in pre-launch. We don't have nearly enough sign-ups, but we also haven't really advertised it much. I've just hinted at it, talked about it a little, but that's because I don't want to get too deep into it until I have everything solidified. Like even the video I put together, it's missing a whole highlight series from episode 1 and episode 3 because, quite frankly, until episode's 3 done, I can't really show much of episode 2. So it's it's a weird thing.
Don't even worry about that. Just start getting out there that the sign-up's available.
He doesn't want to. I was talking to him about that today, and I'm like, do you want me to reach out? And no, I'm not ready yet. I'm like, okay.
Well,
you were specific. We were specifically talking about global frequency, and they said, next time you run a campaign, talk to me before you launch it. So this is still in sign up, and I'm like, I don't want to have him ask me questions and not have the answers because I know how he speaks to people, and that's fine. But I just want to be prepared. I don't want to go in and have him go, well, come to me when you're through your sign up. Okay, well, I know that, but I'm just, I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to burn that bridge by going to him too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I get that. I get that. I would. There are. I'm not sure whether you've tried get on Facebook, get into a bunch of the groups for Kickstarter campaigns or Indiegogo campaigns.
We have.
And just put stuff in there. I'm not sure how well it does. I just went through that today, putting my 5 days left to the Kickstarter.
I've been sharing that whenever you tweet it.
Yeah. Well, for the next few days, I'll be every day. I'm going to be tweeting. Tomorrow morning is going to be a 4-day left with another image. I'm going to go right down to 1 day left.
Right.
And then I'll probably just say today it ends.
There you go.
Kickstarter,
maybe with a gravestone, rest in peace.
Right. Kickstarter, we have to actually fund to see the money, right? Like if you don't get there, there's no flex, there's no
right.
Yeah, so I need another 184 in the next few days.
Who do we know, honey? Who has not seen the Canadian Shield advertising?
I do not know off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Well, it's not just seen, it's just actually them getting out and purchasing something too.
Right.
Because I've probably had lots of people see it, but I know I have with Indiegogo, and not everybody's bought.
Right. No, I know. It's hard. No matter how you do it, it's hard, guys. It really is.
Unless it's soft. Sometimes if you just take it as soft.
Oh my God. He's so funny.
Well, there's hard ice cream and there's soft
Funny
ice cream.
little lizard.
My biggest problem is, I have all these big name, well, either big name or these people that with a bit of a audience, a big
Mhm.
audience, whether it's somebody in the comic community or like I said, when I was at the Comic Con, Channel 14, a local cable station, who's small, you know one of the guys there said about having me and bringing me on for an interview via Zoom. Over a month later, I have yet to hear from him.
Right.
I'm thinking of reaching out to him soon and seeing what's happening. But and these people that I go to and say, "Hey, can I have you on?" And oh, sure, I'll have you on, and then you never hear from them.
Mhm.
And even when you contact them, they may say something, or they just don't say anything at all.
That
It's like,
sucks.
oh, good. Or it's like, and one of the worst things was with my first campaign. I was just about a guy was about to do an article in a Christian magazine for me, and because
Mhm.
COVID hit, that magazine didn't come out. I reached out to him for a second, and unfortunately, they didn't have the space to put something in for me for this
Right.
one. It's like I can't just catch a break. It's maddening, frustrating.
Yeah.
Your punch puppies.
So these little creatures are underlings that are actually kind of like pets to Bryce, the fallen angel. And they're not exclusive to him, but he has a collection of them that he uses as sentries throughout the castle that the kids are exploring. And yeah, that's the prototype. They get cuter. But that was the initial drawing. The general idea. You can obviously see the possibilities for a very cheaply made Korean plushie. Like they make them in Asia. So like I'm thinking, yeah, if I ever wanted to do it, that's the perfect little plush ball.
It looks like a couple different things to me. A tribble with legs and antenna.
Yeah, there's that.
And then of course, what's his name? Nasser's critter, or one of his critters.
Yeah, but it is, except my mouth is not there. He has a big mouth.
Yeah, well, I said looks like. I didn't say was.
Yeah, and see the antennae? They have those little hands on them at the ends.
Yeah, I just thought they were part of it. I didn't see them as hands, but
That's because you haven't seen him after he gets punched. Those go kind of a little insane. That's his little secret.
They slap. They slap.
Oh no! But you'll see. I'm hoping it's an artistic, wonderful thing, because I want him when he gets punched. I want him to like really freak people out without being the obvious like big teeth, sudden monster. No, this little hand thing is going to be really cool.
Well, okay. Question: how tall is this thing?
It's only like it's the size of a small dog.
So this thing isn't going to probably get punched. It's going to get kicked.
Yeah, well, yes, but they're called punch puppies because kick puppies don't sound good. Maybe I'll have to create a better reason to call them punch puppies. But yeah, they might probably get kicked more often than not. Except they don't like dwell a lot on the floor.
Unless you have their hand do the punch.
No, but they don't see like they're the kind of things.
Well, once they get kicked, they punch.
Well, the kick could be the same thing though. Like it would still affect them like a punch because it's really the concussion force that gets them pissed.
Yeah, but you call them punch puppies because they punch back.
Well, their hands like they climb stuff. They're like so throughout the book, I'm planting them in little secret spots, and that way, when you're finally aware of them as a reader, not as like someone who watched the show or anything. You'll be able to go back and find them and be like, oh yeah, there he is hanging up there. There he is on that shelf, and there he is down there. And so it's not one; it's many of them.
So they're going to be sort of like Lucky from She-Ra.
I don't know. I don't remember that. Was there more than one of them?
Well, there was only one Lucky, but he was always hidden in the show, and you had to find him.
I don't remember that, but I have to be honest. I didn't watch She-Ra at all. Bad pop culture fan. Bad pop culture fan. Like, I'm talking not even one episode. Maybe we need to do a watch party. We can do She-Ra. Didn't she have a movie?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the movie was He-Man finding his twin sister, who becomes She-Ra.
But then she had a series, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I can figure out how we could do a watch party and laugh at reaction.
Oh yeah, that's easy. I know how to do that.
But you have to be careful, like, not to blow the copyright, right? So like we'd have to watch it separately.
No, we just do it on my Discord.
Ah.
And I invite everybody to my Discord. We do it in I have a channel just for watching stuff like this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I used to for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. I was watching stuff on Friday and Saturday nights on my Discord, and people could come in and watch with me, whatever it was. We had bad movie night and we had good movie night. Movie so bad you just have to watch.
You know, if we did this right, we could watch the movie and then stream our faces while we're watching the movie doing responses. Like, because you can't stream on YouTube with the movie, right?
Yeah. Well, there's ways of doing that because people do it, but not the whole movie. They do a lot of editing.
But
although I've heard of people doing it live, like what you're talking about, too.
Yeah, because if we just had our screens open and we said, okay, everybody, we're going to start the movie off at, 0000 and 3, 2, 1, and everybody in their location starts the movie in another window, and then we watch it together and respond. As long as everybody's in sync, because like if you're watching a comedy and someone's half a second ahead, it'll be like the joke's about over, and you hear and everybody's like, oh.
Well, that's exactly why you have them all in the Discord. You make it that you build the community in the Discord. You say, "Come here, we'll watch it all together." You can see it at the same time, and they can just come in the room and watch.
But in Discord, so would we do a StreamYard in conjunction with the Discord?
We wouldn't have to.
Because you can't put the Discord in YouTube, right?
Well, I can. How would you?
No, but I mean without the movie.
Yeah, I could do. But I know you're thinking about the reaction live, but they can see our reaction. You do it live in the Discord. Sort of.
Oh no, I'm just thinking about clicks, man. I want to get us I want to start getting us those super chats, man. If you're going live, I want you to get super chats. If we're going live, I want to get super chats. Why? Because that's what everybody I see making a lot of money is doing. So when we do the shows, it would be great if they'd pay for the popcorn and butter, don't you think, Rick? If you could get like even $10 during a live stream watching a movie, they've paid for your hour or two watching that movie.
Well, at that point, I'd rather do it on Rumble. Rumble right now, technically, although I'm not paying for it at the moment, if I started paying for it again, I can get super chats right away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Although you have to have the people in there to pay, you have to have people watching you,
And people watching you who want to give you money, right? Yeah, or have money to give.
Yeah, that too,
Yeah, no, I'm kind of playing because I've never done it for that.
Hey, honey, what are you looking for? I know, it's after 10. I'm coming.
The dogs are wanting us to go to bed.
Yeah, she came down to find me, so I'm going to get ready to go.
I'm not letting you go alone because I'm tired too. To be honest, Rick, last night I woke up at 12, fell back asleep at 3, or no, I think it was about 2:30. Then I went back to sleep. Then I got up about 4, went to bed because I had fallen asleep on the couch. Was up by 5:30. My sleep cycle has been such crap that it's not well.
Yeah. He doesn't need to know the specific name. Oh, my mom was saying over on Rumble, they're not Rumble super chats, they're Rumble rants. But that's just what the regular thing is. And actually, technically, the good thing about Rumble rants, the paid ones anyways, They give you 80% of the money instead of 1/3 or 2/3.
Oh,
You get more. And I know this because Dillard gave me $1 once over there.
Dillard's a hot shit, man. I like that guy.
And I got 80 cents of it. So.
So, do you want to give Tim's not here, but he's in the chat, I think. So check out Melvin 2. It's now funding. He's 65% or so of the way there. He would be here shilling it if he could. I'm starting to get a cough developing.
I'm sure by the end of the weekend, Melvin 2 will be fulfilled.
Cool.
So more pressing, we have 4 days left for Canadian Shield.
Shield to fund on Kickstarter.
Yes.
Right. And the links are in the description, but if you could go over there and buy like 15 or 20 books, we'd so appreciate it. If you can't and you get one, that's great too. But Christmas is coming and it'll be a fun gift. If it comes.
Actually, there's the thing. I am on course right now that I hopefully will be getting them in for around the beginning of December. So I should be shipping in December. So people should be getting their book about a month early.
And if even if it is in the new year, remember there's 3 Kings Day, and then February has Valentine's Day. So there's gifts galore. You just if you don't get it before Christmas, just plan ahead. There's birthdays.
Well, hey, like this is good that I'm early. You know,
right?
Yes.
That's really good.
But I mean, like,
and if you'd have to believe I might have planned it that way.
And it's such a contradiction from like some other campaigns out there. It makes you look really good.
Yeah.
Yes. You know
hey,
what I'm
I
saying?
I like looking good in that way. You know, I've always wanted to be on time. Like I said, my first campaign, I was late a little, only by a month or two. And that was because I had problems getting the money. Otherwise, I would have been early. But
we've had a couple within a month or two late sometime. Not many. Which one was it, honey? Last of the Reapers?
I think just Trolls.
And Trolls, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was mostly because we set it up wrong. It wasn't so much late as it was kind of screwed up the whole way I did it. Campaign.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You said, unfortunately, you said put the wrong.
I put the wrong date in. It's me. It was all my fault.
No, it was my fault. You know why?
Why?
You told him. He told you the wrong date.
No, I went back and fixed it when you went to bed. I changed it. I went behind your back before you could launch it, and I changed it because I was crazy. Because
what's happening with your eye there, Chris?
I don't believe that.
It's I don't know what it is.
It doesn't matter.
It is what it is, but it wasn't too late, and you were still around. People were hearing from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It actually came out. So hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the best part. So I guess we're gonna go. Hang on. I saw Tim, are you still here? Because if not, I'll play Canadian Shield. But I gotta find it. I don't think I have it in a single thing. Because I don't want to just walk out and click buy. That's so
Why not?
It's so uncool.
Did you guys make it for my Tuesday night stream? Yes.
No,
night?
I was dead asleep, brother. Because what happens is early evening I take a nap.
Yeah.
You can buy my baby too at Amazon.
Wait, that's not what we want. I mean, I love that guy. But hang on. Oh yeah, rock the world. There we go. Come on. I am American. All right. After this ends, I'll close the live stream, guys. Thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm.
And go back to the books in the description.
Yes.